So before we begin, I'd like to thank all the fans for our previous views on the last podcast. I believe we had 52 views and 39 views respectively. So thank you. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, just that red button down below, and it makes it that much easier for you to see the videos.
Let's hop on that.
But
yeah,
in the NFL world, there was a crazy day yesterday. But before we get into that, I would like to touch on those Steelers and Dolphins and then get into my Cowboys. Obviously, another rough game for the Steelers. Got beat by one player, basically, in A.J. Brown. Let's hear Gio's thoughts.
Thoughts. We already know what happens when the Steelers secondary goes against an elite receiver in that nature, just like a Stephon Diggs or A.J. Brown. They burned them. He obviously had 3 touchdowns in the first half. I don't know if that's like a jab at the Steelers or if it's just a wake-up call for the entire league because A.J. Brown is here. He is an elite wide receiver, right? Is he the best wide receiver in the game right now? Maybe. Right now I got him at number 2 or 3. I don't think he's the best right now, but he is up there. He could be arguably, but we all know that Philly's the real deal, right? They're a great team, not overrated in my opinion. They're the best team right now in the NFC, and Steelers got beat by a really good team, and nothing else to say.
It's fair. Saya?
bugging that they're not overrated, but
You think they're overrated?
hmm
Okay. Why?
I don't think they've played any real talent yet.
Okay.
Try playing Miami. See what happens to them the Eagles.
Okay, so you're saying try playing Miami when the Steelers made it a close game and arguably could have won that game late in the fourth, right? Where we got absolutely demolished by that offense.
Tua was rusty when we played Joe. You could see that against the Lions with how many points the Dolphins offense put up.
For sure, but do you think your guys' defense can stop that offense?
So healthy, yes. And with our new acquisitions, yes.
Right.
But with our current team that's not healthy, they're lackluster in the secondary. It'll be tough, but I still think Miami out offenses them.
And that's something we got to see, right? Is that defense legit for Philly? You know, are they really that good? Or are they just playing, like you said, untalented offenses?
That's what I believe. But unless they prove me crazy, I'm gonna keep claiming that.
Okay.
I agree. I think the Eagles are overrated. That's with some bias as a Cowboys fan, but I do believe that they are overrated. I agree with Saya. They haven't played much talent. I think if they played Dak Prescott, I believe last time we played them, we would have had a good chance at winning. And I think we would have won that game because the defense wouldn't have been on the field as much. And even when the defense was on the field tired, they still contained that offense. So I believe the next time we play them, we will beat them. But getting back to those Steelers, I don't know how Minkah Fitzpatrick is considered one of the best safeties, but then can't stop A.J. Brown. Yes, A.J. Brown is a great receiver, but if you consider yourself one of, if not the best safety in the league, I think you should be able to go up against anybody.
He's having a very down year, and unless it improves or next year he bounces back, I don't even know if I'll put him as a top 10 safety again.
Bold take.
I'm just saying he's playing terrible this year.
He is, but you think it's because of how much he's on the field or just something else?
I just think he's not playing as well. I think he played to get that bag.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now he's playing more content and he's trying to rely. I feel like he's trying to play more team-oriented defense, which can be fair.
Mm-hmm.
But as a star player, you're supposed to make star plays, and he's
Right.
just not doing that at all.
I agree. I also think that the Steelers were relying on him to step up without TJ Watt, and he hasn't been able to do that clearly.
Facts.
Gio, what are your thoughts as a Steelers fan?
To go off of Nick, I believe I don't want to quote him, but when he signed that extension or that new contract, he stated how the real work starts now and how he has to prove himself for the money he just earned, which obviously he's not doing that right now. But another thing here is I was asked a question by a friend earlier this week of why is the secondary playing so awful when we've seen them play so great, especially in week one?
Mhm.
And that's the thing, right? It's time on the field. Also, it's the defensive line, which alleviates pressure for the secondary, right? Because if you have a defensive line like TJ, like Hayward, right, that can get in and create pressure for the quarterback so quickly, then those wide receivers don't have enough time to burn the secondary, right? Like AJ Brown or Stephon Diggs, right? They don't have time to go ahead and burn the secondary as they are doing right now, which gives the secondary a chance to recover, right? It gives the secondary a chance to play tight against the wide receivers. So obviously, I think once TJ gets back, I think our secondary is going to look a lot better than it is right now because the pressure will be alleviated.
That's fair.
But I do agree he's got to play better for sure.
100%. So I didn't really watch the game, but it looked like your guys still weren't able to convert in the red zone. Was that the case?
Very much so. You know, like I said before, Kenny Pickett needs to understand how to convert in the red zone. Right now, that's not it. You know, that's not happening. Obviously, we'll touch on this later in the podcast, but we made some moves. Hopefully that can, help out the offense run smoother. We got to get an offensive line. Until we fix that problem and we start creating space for Najee Harris at the running game, I don't think we're going to be a great offense, right? Yes, we'll have the passing game, but in order to be a great offense, you need to also have the running game as well. So until that happens, until we fix that offensive line problem, I don't see us scoring in the red zone a lot.
That's fair. I think that's going to come with age for Pickett. He's going to have to take a year or two, figure out the defenses, and then once that happens, he'll take that leap.
Fair.
But for that running game, I don't think it's also all on the O-line. I just think Najee Harris isn't the same player he was last year.
I don't know if I'd agree with that though.
Right.
Seeing him play in the Dolphins game, I felt like he was like their main piece offensively, kind of their bright spot. Although he didn't put up like numbers, he just looked like the best offensive weapon on that field. I think it's just the fact that the Steelers have to be so one-dimensional, that they have a rookie quarterback that's not fully acclimated into the game. So then it kind of allows teams to fill the box more.
That's fair. The reason I say he's not the same, though, like he's still a great player, but I'm just saying it doesn't look like he's hitting the holes as hard as he used to, or he's not looking for the holes as well as he used to. Because like when I saw a screenplay against the Steelers, and like he could have easily ran for the first down, but he like tried to duke out like three people, and it didn't work.
Well, that's also right on trying to do too much because the offense needs him to do too much, right? Needs him to do a lot. And I think that will, will play better, like I said, when we have a better offensive line, when we can have a great passing game with Pickett, once he gets more experience. I think Najee's all the pressure on him to be good, will be alleviated, like I said, just like the secondary. It's all about the pressure. I don't think our guys really can handle the pressure all that well just because they're trying to do too much, right? And if they're trying to do too much, then nothing's going to run smoothly. But when everything's running smoothly and everything's, going together, like the passing game, then the running game happens, then Najee's playing well. We get a defensive line again, then our secondary is going to play well, and I believe that'll help our team run more smoothly.
That's fair.
But yeah.
But I just have one question for you guys.
Okay.
You guys believe the Eagles are so overrated?
I don't think they're so overrated. I just think they're overrated.
But why do you think they're overrated if they've proven to have an amazing offense, right? And has proven that they can also play defense as well.
Because look at the teams they've played. Like we said, they haven't played much talent.
But when they were playing, right, they played the Vikings, who were playing well, I believe.
Yeah, they're okay. That's their best talent they've played all year.
Okay. I believe the Commanders were playing well in the first 2 weeks. Am I not?
I mean, they were playing so.
They were putting up points. Carson
Yeah.
Wentz was putting up points.
Yeah,
And they only allowed 8 points, right, when the Eagles played the Commanders.
I think that's more on Carson Wentz than it is the Eagles' defense, though.
Okay. They played the Cardinals, obviously, without D-Hop, which to me, I think it's ridiculous how much an offense can change with just one player like that.
And Kyler hasn't been the same
Right.
this year
Then you got the Cowboys without
without
Dak,
Cooper.
I believe, right?
Yeah, with Cooper Rush.
Right. 26-17. I think once the Eagles play, say, it's tough because they're not really playing anyone competitive, right? Like they're playing the Texans, the Commanders, the Colts, the Packers, the Titans, the Giants, right? Obviously, although I think the Giants are pretty good, they're nowhere near a Super Bowl team.
No.
Bears, the Cowboys with Dak. We'll see how that offense is running. Saints, and then the Giants again. So obviously, we're not going to see them play against a Super Bowl caliber team in this season until the playoffs.
No, I'd say the best competition they're going to get is us with Dak at quarterback.
Or the Giants, depending on how they're playing.
Right.
So
But I was just going to say, I don't believe either of those teams are Super Bowl contenders, though.
That's fair.
but do you see the Eagles?
Do I see the Eagles being Super Bowl contenders? Right now, the way they're playing, I do. Like you guys said, they haven't played any competition, right? And the playoffs are a whole different game, right? Where you'll have Tom Brady playing at his best, hopefully. You'll have San Fran in there, right? You'll have maybe the Chargers, or not the Chargers. You'll have the Rams in there, the LA Rams, right? Possibly. So when you have these teams, it's just different scenario because we don't know how the Eagles are going to play under the pressure.
I'll also say I don't trust Jalen Hurts in the playoffs yet. This will be his first playoff appearance. I need to
Right.
see how he plays under pressure first.
Plus, time and time again, yes, we've seen him throw the ball, but running quarterbacks do not usually have great success in the playoffs.
No, look at Lamar Jackson.
Right.
So, I don't know. Go ahead, Sam.
So I feel like with Gia's question of the Eagles being overrated, I see them as being a playoff team. Maybe a team that can win the first round of the playoffs.
Okay.
But in the power rankings, they're top 3 right now,
Yeah,
which I think is ridiculous because I
they're
was
two.
top
I
5.
believe they're 2.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
But right now, as they're playing, you don't believe they're the second team in the NFL?
Based off record, they should be 1.
That's
Based
true.
off record and
But
how
based
they're
off
actually
talent.
playing,
Based off talent and team, I don't put them top 5.
you do not put them top 5. Who would you put in your top 5?
That's what I was going to ask.
Do you want it biased or unbiased? Because I'm throwing the Bills out of there if it's biased.
All right,
Keep
we'll
the
go
Bills-
unbiased.
We'll do unbiased, right?
So unbiased,
Okay.
I would put Buffalo there.
That's
Number
I
one?
would put Kansas City there.
Okay.
I would put San Fran there.
Okay.
Mhm.
I would put. Hold on. I'm blanking on teams. I'm gonna pull up the NFL standings. I'll give you 5 easy off that.
All right.
Do you believe the Eagles are a top 5 team, Jake?
Do I believe they're a top 5 team? Yes, I do believe they're top 5. I just
But you
don't think
believe
they're.
they're number 2?
I don't think they're number 2. No,
Who would you have in your top 2 then?
top 2.
Yeah, over.
I do have the Bills number 1,
Okay.
and then obviously Dolphins fan doesn't like that, but
Unbiased, they're 4th.
okay. Who's number 1 for you then?
The Miami Dolphins.
Okay. Number 2. Honestly, I think I'd have to put KC number 2.
Hmm.
All right, Saya, you got your 5?
Yeah.
All right, go.
I completely unbiased. I'm going Kansas City, the number 1.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I'm going the 49ers, number 2.
Okay.
I'm putting the Cardinals now, currently, number 3.
That's crazy, but okay.
What do you mean? D-Hop changes that whole team,
It does.
and they're not even healthy yet.
I just don't trust Kyler right now. He is not looking like himself.
Yo, wow. I'll put San Diego at 4, the Dolphins at 5.
San Diego?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sorry.
The LA Chargers.
Los Angeles?
Los Angeles.
All right.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. I could see that all talent-wise. You're going off talent, not records, right?
Yeah. Records don't
Well,
matter.
just the best team, how
Okay.
they're playing right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
At this very moment.
That's fair.
That's tough for me.
I'll put the Eagles at like 6, maybe 7.
Do you have the Eagles above the Cowboys? Is my question.
Right now, yes.
Okay, that's fair.
So we've only seen what, 1 game, 2 games of
Mhm.
Dak Prescott so far.
Yeah.
Show me a third one to give me more of a sample size, and then that'll determine if they go above.
That's fair. Gio, you got anything?
Yeah. I like your list. I like it a lot. The only thing I would change though is I got Chiefs at 1. I think they are a better team than the Bills. Although they did lose by 4 points. Then I got
They
the
lose-
Bills.
They lose in the regular season just to win in the playoffs against
That's right.
Buffalo. That's how it rules.
That right.
That's
So,
true, honestly.
I got the Chiefs at 1, the Bills at 2. I've got the I got the Eagles at 3, right? Then it's going to be tough for me, right? Because I want to put the 49ers because Christian McCaffrey changes that offense. And then I want to put Arizona at 5, but I want to put Miami at 5 because I think they're just an overall better team than the, did I say 49ers at 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, then
Let
the
me pitch this to
49ers.
you.
So you can say they're interchangeable.
Right, at 5 and 6.
Right.
Nah, you bugging. Let me pitch this to you. Ready? You ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Quarterback wise, Miami's got the better quarterback by far. No
That's
one
correct.
can rely on Jimmy
For sure.
G.
For sure.
Yes, that's correct.
He's
Running
a below
game.
mediocre quarterback.
Okay. Running game
I'll agree
obviously
on that.
goes
Running game goes to Niners.
right.
Running game goes to the 49ers. Receiving core, Miami has
Obviously.
it by far.
Yep. By
Mhm.
far.
O-line.
Defensive wise,
O-line.
O-line, I'll give it to the 49ers.
Right. I would
Okay,
give the same
I agree.
thing.
D-line, I'm taking the 49ers.
I'm taking 49ers.
I am too, yeah.
Linebacker core, are we talking currently or last week?
Currently.
Currently.
Miami's linebacker core.
That's right. Yep.
Can y'all hear that?
No.
Okay, perfect. Miami's linebacker core. Secondary right now.
I would say Miami.
No,
That's my
not right
opinion.
now.
No, they got to get healthy first, in my opinion.
At least like give me Byron Jones back
Mhm.
to like somewhat help with all the injuries in that was like
Right.
back four.
Yeah. I
But
would
yeah, no.
agree. I would agree. I think San Fran has a better secondary right now, but in the future, Miami's going to take that over.
So I think Miami's better. Just plain and simple.
That's fair.
I would agree. Here's one sleeper team that I didn't mention, and that's the Seahawks. I think Geno Smith and what he's doing over there is extremely good right now. But at the same time, it's Geno Smith and the Seahawks. So are they really that good? I don't know, but they're playing really well right now.
That's fair. Since y'all did your list, guess I'll roll with mine. So number 1, I said I got Buffalo. Number 2, KC.
Okay.
And number 3, I think I'm gonna have to put San Fran there, just because.
You said at number 3?
Yeah,
over the Eagles?
Yes.
Okay.
And then number 4, I got Miami. And then number 5, I'll put Arizona. Talent-wise, I believe those teams have better talent than the Eagles.
It's true. It's actually true. The Eagles. The thing is, the Eagles are gonna look so good at the end of the year when they're like
16-1, right? 15-2.
Yeah, exactly.
15
Like
and 2.
they might get like 2 losses.
But then they haven't played anyone. They're gonna go into their first playoff game, and they're just gonna get smacked.
I'm
You
trying to
believe
think of a
that they're
compare.
going to
I think it's going to be like the Carolina Panthers when they got smacked by the Broncos, except they're not going to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they're just gonna get killed.
Yeah. Like they'll get past the first round, like I said, but once they can play competition in the second round,
And Arizona running all the way to the Super Bowl to play the Chargers. Crazy.
okay, that's looking a little crazy right now, but we'll see what happens.
It's gonna happen.
Do you think that defense can get healthy enough to play?
The which
Arizona.
defense? Arizona?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think they can get healthy enough.
Because I would agree because that offense is going to roll, right? D-Hop's back. I think just only going to get better from here, to be honest.
Once they get Marquise Brown back, that
Right.
offense and James Conner, oh man.
I really just believe that offense is just going to get better from here on out. It's just the defense is questionable for me right now.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason why I wouldn't have them go to the Super Bowl. I don't even have them going into the NFC Championship just because of that reason. But that's just my opinion. So
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they'll go to the NFC Championship. I could see them getting to the second round though, and then losing there.
right.
Easy. No idea now.
But let's move to those Dolphins. Saya, what'd you think of that game? I feel like you were a little frustrated, probably, given how close it was, because you wanted a blowout.
I was very frustrated with that game, especially when, even off that first Miami drive,
Mhm.
the Lions scored a touchdown first drive. The defense looked weak all day,
Mm-hmm.
but that secondary is very unhealthy right now.
Right.
Jared Goff played the game of his life. Honestly, best game I've ever seen him play. Like, I was expecting him to have 4 picks. He'll probably save that for next week when he's not playing my team. But
Probably.
the offense was phenomenal, though.
Yeah.
I think
Because
there was,
you guys got down 14-0, and then the next time I checked, it was 14-14. I was like, oh shoot.
and even then, Miami did not score on that opening drive because
It was a
that
fumble, right?
player that they pulled up from the practice squad fumbled,
Right.
and then that's when Miami got down the hole. But after that, I think they scored like every single drive except one. I think after that.
Yeah.
Tua, phenomenal day.
Yes, sir.
Putting
He
the
played
ball
great.
where it had to go.
Yeah.
And that receiving core is just phenomenal as well.
That is facts.
But yeah, a dub is a dub. Byron Jones has to come on the field. Eric Rowe's got to play. Just can't be throwing out the youngins out there still.
Yeah. It's crazy because nothing has even come out about Byron Jones. Like, I don't know, like if it's like a major hamstring injury or what, because they said mild at the beginning of the year and he still hasn't played all year.
I think they have to clear him by Thursday or he goes back on the IR.
And for the rest of the year, right?
I think.
Well, I guess that'll tell if it's major or not.
He's just got to come back, bro.
Yeah, you guys need him for sure. Because Xavier needs someone on the other side to help him.
Honestly. Especially with Brandon Jones being injured too.
Right.
One of our starting safeties.
Yeah.
And then Eric Rowe not filling in. It's been
Yeah,
a Xavier backpack.
Right. That's tough. Gio, you got any thoughts?
Yeah. So I said that Miami is number 5 in my top 5.
Mhm.
I think, according to everyone else, they are a Super Bowl contender,
Mhm.
right? I'm in my top 5. I think they're right there with, the Bills and Kansas City. Only because how many nail biters can you win, right, throughout the entire season? Right
I
now, I
mean,
think they're nail biters. I think they're 3-0 right now.
the Bengals did it last year, and look where they ended up. Yeah, they lost, but still.
But here's the thing for me. You have a great coach who's been to the Super Bowl, right? You have a great quarterback in Tua. Then you've got Tyreek Hill, who's won a Super Bowl, already championship bound, right? You got Jalen Waddle, who's one of the top receivers in the league right now.
Batman and Superman.
I didn't even mention Mike Gesicki yet. That dude catching that touchdown, ridiculous. All right. So for the Miami Dolphins to win all these close games shows me they're ready to win a championship now, win the Super Bowl. Just because the clutchness, right, of Tua, the composure that the Miami Dolphins keep late in the game, especially being down 24-27, right, late in the game. I thought, especially when they were down 0-14 to the Detroit Lions in the first quarter, I thought they could have called the game right then and there, right? Maybe they lost their composure after that, but they kept it, right? They kept their composure. They gritted back into the game. They got back and won the game close in the last second with 12 seconds left, I believe. That's when Gesicki caught that touchdown. Is that correct?
Yeah.
12 seconds left, right? So I think just that alone, the composure, the offense, everything works, right? Miami's there. They're ready to win a Super Bowl. And I think it was a great win for them.
I agree. I will say I never lost faith in the Dolphins because the Lions are known for one thing, and Jared Goff is known for one thing, which is blowing leads, and that's what they did.
But that's not his fault, I would say.
No, it's more of the defense. I agree,
Yeah.
but
Can't blame that defense.
the Lions defense.
Mhm.
Why? You gotta give credit to the Dolphins offense.
Offense.
Yeah, I
Oh, for
figured.
sure. You got to give credit to
I
the
agree.
Dolphins offense, but looking at it from a Detroit perspective, it's not Jared Goff's fault. It's not his fault.
I mean, honestly, they could have won. If we're being honest, they could have won so many games this year. Like against the Seahawks, they scored like 40, and they let the Seahawks score like 5 more points than them. So it's
But
really most of their losses have been on the defense because of how young the defense is.
Right. And it's great to see they're headed into the right direction, right? They have a great offense now. Their defense is young, like you stated. But Detroit to be in close games like this, we didn't think was going to happen this year.
That's true. I will say that boy Aiden Hutchinson is a beast.
He's a real deal, bro.
Like I've seen him play a couple times. Bro gets in the backfield so fast.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Just sucks that Tua's just phenomenal at quarterback.
But
Honestly, probably the best in the league.
oh
I don't
my
know who's
God.
really competing with him.
Here we go. But anything else you guys want to add before we move on to the Cowboys?
That's on bias too. The best quarterback in the league, bro. Josh
Yeah,
Allen, who? Patrick Mahomes, who?
I'm sure it's unbiased.
On bias. There's no one that's messing with him. No one that's good with him.
Okay, moving on to the Cowboys. Obviously, my Cowboys did demolish the Bears 49-29. The Bears offense did get going in the second half, so the defense could have played a better game in the second half, I would say, but they turned it up when it mattered late in the third, which led to the fourth, which led to a few more touchdowns to close out the win. The one thing I was very happy about was to finally see Dak Prescott and the offense clicking again, because I haven't seen that since last year. So to see that happen again is very hopeful for me. And I hope it can continue, because if the offense can click like that and the defense continues to play like they have all year, I'm not saying we're Super Bowl contenders, but I will say I feel like we could at least get past the first round, which would be an accomplishment for the Cowboys.
Sure.
But I will say letting up 29 points against the Bears, that is a little concerning. But there's stuff to work on always in the NFL.
Facts. That game just kind of gives me more hope as a Dolphins fan. that Miami's going to outgun them because the Cowboys' offense floats so well that Miami can do that in their sleep.
hmm
But the Cowboys did play well. I would also bring up your defense was lackluster,
Mhm.
but it's gonna happen
Right.
against like Chicago. They probably did not take them as seriously too. So
No.
I
And
wouldn't be
obviously,
too worried.
no, I'm not worried. It's just our run defense is our biggest weakness. So that's how the Bears scored so many points.
But yeah,
Gio?
yeah.
So it's great to see Dak, right, playing at a high level again for the most part. Tony Pollard, it's great to see him 14 carries, right? 131 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's insane. Until Zeke gets back, right? He's holding down the fort. CD Lamb, 5 receptions, 77 yards, right? 1 touchdown. Being the number 1 receiver, obviously he's getting doubled and all of that, but I expect more yards, right? He is supposed to be that guy for that team.
It's also on Dak. He didn't really look his way that much.
Right, for sure. I agree on that aspect of it. But I think Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears, they're very underrated. I don't think anyone's giving Justin Fields the respect he deserves. Obviously, he played extremely well at Ohio State with the receiving core he had, right? Coming into the league now, the offense is starting to click. He's got Herbert. He's got Montgomery, right? He's got Mooney. That offense is going to start coming together. Defensively, I also think that's going to start coming together as well. But
Not
right
anymore.
now,
Not after the trades they made.
I think in the future, right? That's the whole thing is in the future. They're planning for the future, right?
Yeah.
I think that's why they made the moves because they don't believe that those guys were Super Bowl bound, right? That they couldn't go to the Super Bowl with that defense.
But why would you get rid of your 2 stars if you're trying to get to the Super Bowl? That's my question.
I just don't think they believed in them.
But they didn't get anything back for them. Like if they got something back, I could see it, but they didn't.
I don't want to go into too much depth just for when we talk trades,
Right.
but like that's a younger, good player that they could have kept around for long term.
Right.
Right.
But I think they saw something where they didn't like, and they didn't believe was a Super Bowl type player, to run that defense. That's just my opinion. Obviously, I agree with you guys. That was a bad move on their part. They should have kept him for at least another couple of years, right? Like you said, he's very young, but I just think Justin Fields deserves the respect, and I think that offense is going to start flowing really well, especially after the trades they just made. So
That's fair. I do agree. I do think the Bears are a little underrated along with Justin Fields. But to your point about Tony Pollard, I think that boy should start. I think the
for sure.
Cowboys should let Zeke walk after this year and not let Tony Pollard walk because Pollard just proved that he can be the 3 down back that we expected him to be when we drafted him. And Zeke, I love Zeke, but he's not the same anymore. And I don't see him being the same at all anymore. So I think it's time to let him walk and give Pollard the reins.
I completely agree with that. Me and Jake had a moment earlier that I don't know if Gio caught, but yep, I'm on that same boat.
Gio?
Oh, you do?
Yeah, real quick. I agree. Tony Pollard is that guy. He's a beast. We've seen it happen, right in front of our eyes. He's a star in the league. To my part, though, Dallas, they can't just come out of the first round this year, like you said.
Right.
Right. You believe they can, that's a win in your book. They come out.
I mean, I have higher expectations, obviously, but I'm taking it round by round, knowing the Cowboys.
For sure. Just looking at it in football perspective, Dallas needs to win a Super Bowl now.
Yes, that's correct.
That defense is tremendous, right? We've seen what that defense can do. We've seen what that offense can do. Just because of the Cowboys, I don't want to say they choke. I don't want to say.
So I'm going to trademark Gio's nickname for this podcast as Mr. Cliffhanger, and he is back with another one. Before he left you on a cliffhanger, he was talking about the Cowboys in the playoffs. So keep going, Gio.
Right, as I was saying, you can say they choke, right? You can say things go against them in the playoffs, but this is their best team yet. and they have to win a Super Bowl because I don't think Dak's gonna get better. I think he's at his peak pretty much, I would say. So right now is the time to win a Super Bowl for the Cowboys. Want to know your guys' opinion on that? And if they don't win this year, when is the time?
I'm not going to be mad if we don't win this year. I think as long as we improve this year, which is why I said I'll take losing in round 2 because it's improvement. But I will say if we don't win in the next 2 to 3 years, then it's going to be hard to win with this team that we have constructed.
For me, I don't think it's win right now. I would give it what Jake said, like 2 to 3 years, only because I don't see the Cowboys losing any like key pieces to where they can't win the Super Bowl within 3 years.
Mhm.
But I think within 3 years, there's going to be a lot of players who are going to have way different money.
Right.
Which is going to make it way more complicated and more difficult for them to win.
Especially when Micah's up for that contract, he's getting that bag.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens, but I'll say 2 to 3 years. What are your thoughts, Gio?
I can see that, right? 2 to 3 years is a good compromise than right now. But if they don't win in this 2 to 3 year time period, it's sad I'm sorry, but it's really sad for a Cowboys fan because you guys do have great teams, great players all the time that just can't get it done.
Right. I think we blame the coach too much often as well, which is why we've been going through so many coaches as well.
Right.
But it is also the front office, as we've known.
100%.
So,
speaking of front offices, yesterday and all of last week, basically, they were very busy with the NFL trade deadline that just passed yesterday at 4 p.m. So let's hear your thoughts on your favorite team's trades. I know Gio's a little upset, Say's a little happy. I got nothing to be happy about. Cowboys didn't do anything, but let's hear your guys' thoughts on your guys' trades.
I like good news first. So we can go to the Miami Dolphins if you'd like.
Yeah, all right, let me talk here, So, one thing I loved about trade deadline is Miami trading for Bradley Chubb.
Yes.
We gave up that first round pick. I think it was a 4th round pick.
Mm-hmm.
There might have been another pick on top of that, too.
No, I think it was just those two and Chase Edmonds.
Chase Edmonds, yeah.
And then you got Bradley Chubb back. That's it.
Bradley Chubb. Chase Edmonds, I'm fine with having him gone.
Yeah. And you got Jeff Wilson, too. So
Jeff Wilson came. That's where the other pick went. It was like a 5th round pick, I think, for him.
Yeah.
But I like Raheem getting most of the run, like the carries. I think he's a really, really good running back 1 for the offense we have. Bradley Chubb is really nice. He's going to help a very weak run defense for us.
Mm-hmm.
Also pairing him alongside like Van Geikel, Riley, and Jerome Baker, I think, and Jalen Phillips. I think it's going to be really nice for Miami. Defense will improve drastically.
For sure.
I just wish they made the second trade on top of that, though.
For the defense of the aspect? Okay. Like what? For corners?
Nah, there was one trade I saw. Raekwon Smith for like a 2nd and a 4th, I think it was.
Dang.
I would have loved to have that linebacker in Miami, too.
Yeah, that would have been crazy.
That's me being greedy, though.
Yeah, but obviously you'll take Chubb.
Oh, I would love Chubb.
And you guys are going to re-sign him. Obviously, they're going to extend him. And you okay, Sam?
Yeah, you heard that? Sorry.
I think I had a slip of words there, but it was a subtle jab. But
Gio, what you gotta say over there, bro?
So I think it was great for you guys. you know, you guys are in the win now scenario, right? And that's what you guys want to do, especially with the offense and defense you guys have. Just adding on to that is remarkable. Getting up to that, I don't want to say, because I think you guys are there with the Bills and the Chiefs, but you're not there talent-wise with the Bills and the Chiefs, I would say, right? But just the way you guys play, you are there. Now you're adding on to that, getting to the Chiefs, getting to the Bills talent-wise. It's great to see. So you guys are just that one step closer to the Super Bowl, in my opinion.
I agree. I think Bradley Chubb is going to add another dimension to that defense because he reminds me of Micah Parsons, the way he plays defense. He can come off the edge and then he can drop back into linebacker play as well, which I don't even know what's going on, but which is a great piece to add to your defense. He mainly comes off the edge, which I think will help your run defense drastically. Like you said, while talking about it, and like I said to you before the pod, I think that is your biggest weakness. And I think whenever he does come to play, that's going to be a very big trade for you guys, and it's going to help you guys drastically. And I agree. I think it does help you guys get to your ultimate goal, which is a Super Bowl.
Yeah, do you love him too? You like the move?
Yeah, I like the Chubb move in real life.
That's what me and Gio were dying about, bro.
Oh my God. Say I had a slip of words, but it's all good.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. I didn't even realize you said that, bro.
I went, oh, I love Chubb. So I dropped it quiet, like, pause.
Jeez, bro. But yeah, getting back to the trade, I think it helps your run defense drastically, and it also helps your pass rush because I feel like you guys haven't been able to get to quarterbacks as much as you guys wanted to prior to the season starting. So I think that this will help there as well.
The thing is, so with that, Miami can't really go into deep into their playbook anymore with their blitzes because we just have so many new people.
I feel like give it a week or two, and they'll be able to.
Okay.
And once that happens, quarterbacks better watch out.
We're back to shutting down the Bills. You feel me?
I could see that. Honestly, I could see you guys sweeping the Bills this year after this Bradley Chubb trade.
Yes, sir.
Gio, any closing thoughts?
I wouldn't say sweep.
You think the Bills win the next time they win? The next time they play, I mean?
That would be tough. That's very tough. I think the Bills will win just because they are the Bills. Josh Allen's on a different level right now. That offense is rolling pretty well as well defensively. I think they can get a little bit better, right? But they're still great. You can say that they're gonna sweep, right? But at the same time, it's more probable that the Bills will take that game.
I disagree. I think the Dolphins are going to sweep.
Oh, you think so?
I think so. Just like I think the Cowboys are going to sweep the Giants. Actually, I don't think. I know.
No, you don't know that one.
Trust me. We're sweeping the Giants. We always sweep them. They got nothing on us. We got their number.
Don't worry. I don't even know who Josh Allen is, so it should be an easy sweep.
Yeah, Saya just had to Google Josh Allen. Now he knows.
Yeah, now I know. I didn't know is he like a third string? Because he's not very good.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys getting off topic, but I do think the Dolphins will sweep the Bills.
Okay.
Now it's time
to get to those Pittsburgh Steelers, as much as Gio does not want to, because one of his favorite players was shipped to the Bears for a second rounder in Chase Claypool. So, Gio, your thoughts?
To go from a happy topic to me, cry. That's evil of you, Jake. Yeah. But it's got to happen. It's part of the NFL. It's part of the news.
Mm-hmm.
Steelers get rid of one of my favorites on the team and Chase Claypool to the Bears, which if they have to go any place, I'm happy he goes to play with Ohio State alum, right? The Ohio State with Justin Fields. Great to see that. But I thought he had a lot of talent. I think he's worth way more than a second round pick, in my opinion. Obviously, the numbers now don't show it, but in my opinion, I think he's worth way more than a second round pick. Chase Claypool is going to play really well for the Bears, and I think the Steelers are going to regret this decision and getting rid of him, especially if the offense doesn't click without him. That's the only reason why I think we got rid of him is because the offense was not clicking with him, right? Getting more targets to Pickens, right? Because he's been playing really well. Deontay Johnson's our number one guy, obviously. So we want to get him more targets, see how this offense rolls without Claypool. And I was just happy that he was able to, have that trick touchdown against the Eagles and end his Steelers career on that.
It's fair. I do disagree, though. I think he's worth a second rounder or less personally because of the numbers that he's put up so far in his career. He hasn't been what I expected him to be, but he does have the talent to get there. And I think the Bears will be a good fit for him because they don't have that many weapons. So I think he's going to be Justin Fields' number 2 option, and he will put up good numbers, much better numbers than he did at the Steelers because he was always like a number 3 option at the Steelers.
For sure.
Go ahead, Saya.
I think getting a second round pick from the Bears is a good deal for Claypool. I personally don't see him being as valued as the Bears do. Just because I think the Bears are going to have a high second round draft pick, so you're going to pick early, which is very nice for the Steelers, where I think you get a receiver better than Claypool even at that point. But I think it's a good deal for the Steelers, bad deal for the Bears. I don't think I would. I think they could have walked away with the third round pick.
I agree. I think a third or fourth round pick would have done the deal.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Gio, did you hear about that second trade the Steelers made?
I did. I do not like it.
Which one was that again?
For
William Jackson III.
Oh yeah. I don't like that either. Because
from the Commanders.
Yeah, he's not as good as people make him out to be, I feel like.
And for the attitude, we've
That's
had
fair.
a lot of attitude problems in the Steelers locker room in the past couple of years, as we've known.
Yeah.
Don't even have to mention their names. We just know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we know. One's not in the league right now for a reason.
And second one's boxing right now because he doesn't got any money. So
Right.
I don't know. I think it was a good pick. You never know. You just gave up like a 6th rounder to take that risk.
Right. Yeah. I think it was a good trade. I just don't think overall it's a good trade, if that makes sense.
Valid. You don't see like the value to the team. I see it.
Right. Because yes, he's good, but I don't even know, right? I know he was disgruntled on the Commanders, and maybe that's why he was all upset. Maybe he will change his attitude. But at the same time, when someone has an attitude problem, right, and is disgruntled when they are playing for a team, who knows if that's going to happen again, right?
Right. I think it was mainly because 1, he wasn't playing, and 2, the Commanders were losing, so he thought he could help the Commanders win. So I think as long as you play him, and even if you're losing, as long as you play him and he's like contributing to the team, he'll be fine.
I hope that's the case. And if that's the case, then we obviously win that trade overall. But looking back at it, who knows if this is actually going to help us.
Yeah,
so
I agree. I think, if anything, given the injury to TJ Watt and who knows when he'll be back, I think you guys, if anything on defense, should have added a D-line or 2.
I would agree. We should have done that. So,
but obviously, trade deadline's passed. Cowboys didn't do anything per usual. I don't expect anything less. But if Brandon Cooks does get released, which he might ask for release, Jerry Jones, if you're watching this, go sign him.
Bring another speedster to Miami.
No, Miami doesn't need receivers. He can come to
Bring
Dallas.
Another speedster.
No. Any other big trades or surprising trades you guys wanted to touch on? outside of your guys' teams?
I want to talk about one specifically in my division, but I'd
The-
rather talk about that later if y'all
Okay,
have
the
ideas.
the Bills one. Okay. What about the Roquan Smith one to the Ravens? I think it was for a second round pick, right?
I got the trade up. It was Roquan Smith for AJ Klein, a second round draft pick, and a fifth round draft pick.
Right. I think the Bears could have got a lot more for Roquan Smith, given how young he is. And I don't know, like, if their front office is just not trying to get more or like trying to get draft picks and just stack them up and building for the future, like Gio said. But if I was the Bears, I would have asked for a lot more for Roquan Smith and for Robert Quinn as well. The Eagles really robbed the Bears on Robert Quinn.
But yeah, I think that's a great player. Sold for the bare minimum in my eyes.
Yeah.
Would have loved him in Miami, but it's a good trade for the Ravens. I don't see them getting that much better though.
You don't think it'll help them defensively?
I mean, it'll help, but it won't stop them from choking games away still.
That's fair. But I mean, their division, no offense, Gio, is very bad right now. So I think they'll still win their division.
Yeah.
But come playoff time, they're still not going to win. Any thoughts, Gio?
Yeah, I agree with you guys on that trade. One trade that I really think is very surprising though, and is going to help the Jags in the future, is the Calvin Ridley trade. I think that was a great trade for them, especially for the future. So I think that's going to be a sleeper trade that no one's going to be really talking about.
I agree. I saw that trade, and yes, he's not playing right now, but the Falcons could have got so much more for him, bro.
So much.
Like, yeah, he's not playing for a year, but like, he's still when he's back, one of the top receivers in the league. Right. At least get like a first rounder back.
I agree. And then you just add him to that, offense in Jacksonville, with Trevor Lawrence, ETN, and them boys down there. So
exactly. So that offense, once Lawrence continues to grow as a quarterback and becomes like acclimated to the NFL, that offense could be scary.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
As long as, who knows how long Ridley's going to be suspended. It might be more than a year, but once he gets back, it's going to be scary.
I'm surprised no one brought up Detroit and Vikings trade.
Yeah, that one was confusing to me. I have never seen an intra-division trade.
It shocked me too, bro. I didn't think TJ would get traded this early in his career.
No, me either. And then to the Vikings, like, you really want to play him twice a year?
The Vikings got a lot better with that trade too.
Oh, 100%. And I think they did it because they knew Irv Smith would be out 8 to 10 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if I was the Lions, if they called and asked for potentially my best player on offense, I'd be like, hanging up the phone and not answer.
They only got a second and a fourth for him.
Yeah, like, that's nothing. Like, they got a tight end back or a first round pick back. Well, they got nothing back.
TJ Hawkinson was like the highest drafted tight end too. They just
bro, that's crazy to me. It's crazy. But the Lions are the Lions. They're gonna do Lions things. I don't know what else to say.
About
one thing that did surprise me was the Packers not making any moves to make their offense better, because we've seen how much they're struggling and how frustrated Aaron Rodgers is. And for them still not to make any moves, that's crazy to me.
There was a good amount of wide receiver trades too. They could have been in on that.
Right. Because they said they were going to trade for Claypool, but they said, nah, he's not worth a second rounder. But like, with the receivers you have, he is worth a second rounder.
Could have been wide receiver 1 as soon as you showed up.
Right. I don't know. I as long as the front office continues to be this bad, I don't see Aaron Rodgers staying there for past this season, honestly.
No.
Like, if they lose this season and don't make the playoffs, he's gone.
Steelers.
That is looking like it could happen, Gio.
Yep.
But any other thoughts, specific trades, Gio?
I just think that was a crazy deadline. You know, a lot of shifts in the NFL. See what happens, see what pays off for those teams, and move
Right.
on.
Yeah, crazy trade deadline for sure. 10 NFL trades. I think it's one of the craziest trade deadlines in a while.
Mhm.
A lot of people on the move that we didn't expect to move, and we'll see how it affects the teams that got better.
Yeah. Do you guys think the Bills got better?
Oh, for sure.
You're talking about the Naheem Hines traded specifically?
Yeah. Naheem Hines for Zach Moss, like a fourth, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think Naheem Hines is going to add a dynamic player to that offense, another dynamic player. So, yes, I do think they got better, but I don't think they got that much better because Naheem Hines has trouble staying healthy.
Mhm.
And
True. True.
even when he's healthy, he doesn't produce to the level that people expect him to. So I don't think they got that much better, but as long as he's healthy and Bills utilize him in the way that he can be successful, then they definitely got better for sure.
I think they also got better. I think they're gonna have a better run and pass game. I
Right,
think
because
Naheem Hines is
they only have Devin Singletary, and Singletary he's fell off a cliff.
he's terrible. He's
Yeah.
awful. But
It's crazy to me how much better to me the Bills can get, right? Because Hines was a top 5 running back since 2018
Mhm.
to have receiving yards, right?
Right.
He's
Yeah.
number 5 in the top 5, and his rookie year was in 2018 as well, so he's only getting better,
Mhm.
in my opinion. To play with Josh Allen and them boys in Buffalo, I think is ridiculous. But at the same time, how much time do you have, and how many plays do you have to get these players these touches that they need in order to be successful? We'll see what happens and see how this offense runs with a great player like Hines. But like you guys said, health is an issue, and if he stays healthy, what can this offense do?
I think it's going to add another dynamic to that offense because Naheem Hines has speed. And I
Speed,
feel like
right?
the one thing that the Bills were lacking was a speedy running back.
For
So
sure.
as long as he stays healthy, it's going to be scary.
Yeah, they're pretty scary. They're Super Bowl bound, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, gotta get through the Chiefs first though. That's their
Gotta get
nightmare.
through the Chiefs. Gotta get through the Dolphins.
Dolphins first.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's true. The Dolphins first. But if they do get through the Dolphins, I don't see them getting through the Chiefs
that's
still.
right.
I don't
Right.
see him getting past either of them, even with them getting better.
Yeah. I I feel like the Chiefs will always have the Bills number. It's just the way
Definitely
it's going to be.
for sure.
Facts.
But what are your thoughts on the trade, Saya? Closing thoughts.
It's a good trade by the Bills. I don't really. I can see what the Colts were thinking with going JT all the way. But I think they could have got more for Naheem.
Yeah.
Especially
I
from a
agree.
contending Bills team.
Yeah. I feel like this really shows you that the Colts are tanking for a quarterback.
Fair.
But I agree. They could have got more for Naheem Hines. Yes, they have Jonathan Taylor, but now he's hurt. And I feel like they knew that when they traded Naheem too. So that just goes back to the tanking thing. They're like, yeah, whatever. We're already having a losing season anyway. But they definitely could have got, I would say, not a first round pick, but they could have got a second round pick at least.
Mhm.
I think they just got a fourth back, right?
Yeah. They got a 5th-round draft pick in Zach Moss.
Right. Like Zach Moss he's decent, but not nowhere compared to Naheem Hines. And the fifth rounder, you could have easily got at least a second or third rounder, I would say.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I think it just shows that the Colts are tanking and trying to get a quarterback with this quarterback heavy draft incoming.
Uh,
Any final thoughts, Gio?
I agree with you guys. We'll see what happens and take it from there.
Yes, sir. So, you guys want to talk about Dan Snyder first or go to the Steve Nash?
Dan
you
Snyder,
choose her.
Dan Snyder? All right.
keep it with NFL.
So, for those of you who don't know, Dan Snyder, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, was accused of sexually assaulting multiple women in the workplace and has been literally harassed by other NFL owners to sell the Commanders, especially this year. And he finally bought in. He's not selling them officially, but he did hire Bank of America to explore selling them, either half of them or all of them. They're exploring all options, according to a source given to Adam Schefter. So, what are your guys' thoughts on that? I think it's the right move. I think he should have been gone a long time ago once this news came out. I lost all respect for him once this news came out. But what are your guys' thoughts?
I'd agree. I just think it's long overdue. And it's about time.
Facts. Gio?
I believe the same thing. I think he should have been gone a long time ago. We'll see how messy this gets, though, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because he does say he has a lot of dirt on all these owners, Jerry Jones being one of them, right? And the commissioner, Roger Goodell.
I think that's all talk, though, just because he didn't want to sell.
It can be, but if he does have dirt, it is going to get very messy.
Yes, 100%.
And I think there's going to be a lot of changes in the NFL if that does happen and things come out and be true. So see what happens. Right now, it's a good look, that we're coming to a end of the Snyder era in Washington, and hopefully that organization can move forward.
I agree. But moving to the NBA, obviously there was very shocking news this past Tuesday when the Nets decided to fire Steve Nash after about a year and a half of coaching. And it is reported that the favorite to hire is Ime Udoka, which is another interesting topic that we can cover. Given what happened with him on the Celtics and the Celtics allowing him to leave for a job if he does get hired. But what are your guys' thoughts on the Steve Nash thing first?
Yeah, so with the Steve Nash firing, I kind of expected it, but not until the end of the season.
Yeah, same.
But with that, I understand the win now mode. And if you can get Udoka, then that's a really good move.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see that happening. I just see them getting a worse off coach that can't really manage Kyrie and KD at all.
That's fair. I do see them getting Udoka, but I do agree with the move of firing Steve Nash, but I don't agree with it being so early in the season. It's just about 8 games in. Like, give him at least a month or so, and then if you're still bad, then okay, you can let him go. But this quick, I don't agree with. And then if they were going to fire him, I feel like they should have done it in the off season instead of right in the middle of the season when like everyone's starting to get going and then they have to adapt to a new coach with a new style. It's going to be hard. So we'll see what happens. But I think it was the right move, just made at the wrong time.
Facts.
This was going to happen since day one.
Right.
It was a known fact, in my opinion. I don't believe it is Steve Nash's fault. For him to coach his first team like the Brooklyn Nets with Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and have the expectations to win a championship, not even get to the playoffs, but to win a championship. 3 years, 4 years, right? 3 years.
I think
been
how many years he coached?
Right.
I think 2.
Oh, it was not 3.
Let me see. Hold up. I'll Google it, but you can keep going.
Okay. So for the time being, Steve Nash, I don't think it is his fault, like I said. For him to get fired now is disrespectful, in my opinion, for him. Like you said, he should have got fired in the post or in the off season, because really we've seen all we can from Steve Nash as a coach, right? Although they did want to try it with Ben Simmons, I think you should have just restarted, especially, having a new dynamic with Ben Simmons, just have a new culture there would have been great. To get Ime Udoka from the Boston Celtics will be very interesting because he's suspended. It's going to be like the the Nets disregard everything happened with Ime Udoka, breaching his contract, doing all that, right? They're just going to let him coach. There's going to be no repercussions for Ime. I can't see that happening. And I don't really think it's the coach's fault. I'm putting all the blame right now on Kyrie Irving. Still bringing in nonsense for that team into that locker room. Can't just play basketball. You can say whatever you want, right? But it has to be, I don't want to say quiet during the NBA season, but for him to have all these controversial things, come towards him, it's not by mistake, right?
Right.
He's doing this on purpose. It's him bringing all this attention to himself.
Yeah.
And it's just sad to see that Steve Nash got fired, I believe, because of that, right? Because he can't control Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. And good luck to Ime Udoka, right? Quinn Snyder, I believe, is also in the race.
Yeah.
A couple other coaches are in the race. Good luck to all those guys, whoever gets the job, because it's going to be difficult to handle Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant.
I agree. I think it's more on Kyrie as well. I don't blame Kevin Durant. Obviously, the whole summer thing didn't bode well coming into the year, but I feel like that's more on the ownership of the Nets and not wanting to give Kevin Durant because of how good he is, which I don't blame them.
Sure.
And to answer your question, Steve Nash did only coach for 2 years.
No.
So it was 2 years. He went 48 and 34 his first year. And then last year, obviously, was sixth place, got swept. But yeah, I think it's more on Kyrie because of all the drama he creates. And honestly, I was begging for the Lakers to get Kyrie this offseason, but after seeing what he's been doing this year, like I thought he was gonna, they were gonna keep him in check and he'll be playing basketball, but it doesn't seem like his focus is basketball. So as a Lakers fan, I'm actually happy we didn't get Kyrie because he's just a distraction to any team he goes to, I feel like. And honestly, he's one of those cancers in the locker room that a team does not want. Go ahead. Gio? Say
So Kyrie Irving is a cancer to the locker room.
Right.
My opinion, he gets rid of all culture you build, right? He brings in, I don't want to say negativity, but he brings nonsense that shouldn't be in the locker room.
Like if you guys haven't seen, the anti-Semitic things that are going on right now.
And it's not the fact that I don't want to say, if he tried to say it in a different manner, right? Not anti-Semitic, right? If he was trying to show something in a different way, positively, or trying to bring up something, right? That needs to be brought up. But he brought it up in an anti-Semitic way, right? Whatever the case may be. And he's still not apologizing or he's not explaining himself over what he said, which is what I don't understand.
They gave him a chance to apologize, and he basically just he backed up what he said.
And he said that he meant what he meant. You can say whatever you want, right? Pretty much freedom of speech, right?
Right.
But at the same time, it's anti-Semitic. You're bringing down an entire religion. So, and people. So I just don't understand it. If he tried to explain it in a way where he was trying to not support, but bring something up that's very important, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then explain himself, then I can try to understand his point of view.
Right.
But really, he's not understanding it, and it's coming across in a bad way. And that's where everyone's, disagreeing with him right now, is because it's coming up in a bad way.
Yeah, I agree. I think he does understand what he's doing, though. He just does it anyway. He doesn't care.
Right, because he's a smart individual.
Right. Like Shaq said on TNT last night, it sickens him to his stomach when he has to sit up there and back up, talk bad about basketball, that people are dividing the game for what other idiots are saying, basically, is what Shaq said to summarize him. And I agree, because basketball is made to bring people together. Right. And Shaq said that these people, like Kyrie Irving, are dividing the game.
Exactly. I 100% agree.
So I think any team who does go after Kyrie Irving in the offseason better have a good coach and front office who can keep him in line.
Here's another thing that I wanted to add. I'm sorry, Nick, but I just remembered I believe his name is Miles Leonard, right?
Yes, yeah, Myers Leonard from the Heat.
Myers
That's right.
Leonard from the Heat is not playing in the NBA anymore.
No, because of one word that he used one
That
game.
he used in his gaming, right?
And he apologized too.
And he apologized. He didn't understand the meaning. He was not informed, right, on the meaning of the word. And anti-Semitism is not allowed in any form, right? It should not be allowed. And for Kyrie Irving to say those things, not explain what he was trying to say or anything of that nature, and he's still able to play, I think that's because of how great of a player he is. But there should be higher standards for everyone, right? Even though he's a great player, he should not be playing the game because Myers Leonard is not playing the game as well. And equality does need to stand. And I think Adam Silver needs to check himself right now. So that's my opinion.
I agree. I also say another reason I don't blame Kyrie is because KD actually came out and said, I was shocked when Steve Nash got fired. Kyrie hasn't come out and said anything. Like, Kyrie doesn't care. Kevin Durant at least cares that his coach got fired because, they had a good relationship, even though he requested a trade this offseason. It doesn't seem like Kyrie cares.
What are your thoughts on all this information, Nick?
You did me dirty. Doing me dirty.
So Mr. Cliffhanger got sick of the cliffhangers. Pass it on to Nick Saya. What are your thoughts, Nick Saya?
With the whole Kyrie thing, I do think he's in the wrong with what he recently said.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I can appreciate Kyrie talking his mind and feeling able to be human with his spot of like popularity and fame.
Mm-hmm.
But those comments are completely out of line. And the only difference between him and Myers Leonard, as Gio brought up earlier, is that Kyrie is a bigger name, a better player.
Yes.
Otherwise, he would have been cut, kicked out the league, just like Myers.
Right. You could honestly compare that to like Colin Kaepernick as well in the NFL with him kneeling.
It's just kind of crazy, bro. Like the precautions they're taking with it.
But I mean, yeah, I feel like Gio's also right that Adam Silver has to come out and say something about, speaking your mind, but not to an extent where you hurt other people.
Yeah.
Like the NBPA did that today. They're saying like they're gonna start educating, which is good. But like Adam Silver as the commissioner has to say something, I feel like.
And I think Kyrie's gotta get suspended for it, bro.
Right.
Yeah. If Adam Silver doesn't, like if I'm the Nets, I'm at least suspending him a game, being like, bro, you gotta know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Actions.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
There's gotta be accountability for stuff like that.
Right.
Right. That's not the first time Kyrie's done something like this either.
And actions speak louder than words, right? So for the Nets just to speak on it and not do anything about it shows me that they don't care. For Adam Silver not to say anything shows me they don't care. The Players Association, yes, that's great that they're going to start informing people, and they don't have any power to suspend them, right, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And it's great what they're doing, but everyone else has to be accountable and has to, show us they care, right? Like the Nets and Adam Silver, like you said, suspend him, do something, community service, whatever the case may be. It's got to do something, but Kyrie Irving's not held accountable right now.
I agree. He hasn't been held accountable his whole career, though, honestly. He's done this in Cleveland. Now he's doing it in Brooklyn. He did it in Boston. No one's holding him accountable, which is the reason why he keeps doing it, I feel like.
For sure. And for me, it's crazy to see a player of that stature do the things he does, because we saw he was a good kid in Cleveland for the most part.
Right. I feel like that was also, though, because he was under the wing of LeBron.
But also before that, he was an upcoming star without LeBron James.
Right. The fame got to his head.
That's my point. There's no excuse other than fame got to your head. Really.
Honestly, that's not even an excuse, though, in my opinion.
No, there's no excuse. Like I'm saying, there's no excuse. You didn't get hit by Vontaze Burfict, right? Like Antonio Brown, CTE.
Yeah.
That's why I personally think he's going crazy.
Mhm.
You can say Kanye West, right? Bipolar, right? All that
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
And how bipolar, you have those breakdowns, right?
Right.
Kyrie Irving really has nothing to go off
No.
of as an excuse. He just says the things he wants to say, and there's no repercussions.
And that's the reason he says it, like I said, because there's no repercussions.
Right.
He knows that he can get away with it, which is messed up. Saya?
I do like what Gia said about accountability and actions speak louder than words. So far, everyone's lacking, I would say. Although the Players Association started talking about educating people,
Mhm.
until there is steps to doing it, like where they are actually being educated,
Right.
I think they made a good start. But to start showing them being educated, I think that's really gonna make an impact.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do think Kyrie can do whatever he wants pretty much over there. Just because we saw Kyrie almost single-handedly bring himself to the LA Lakers when KD was talking about trade talks.
Right.
Mhm.
So Brooklyn's doing everything for KD and Kyrie right now,
Yeah.
which is honestly terrible with like what's just happened.
Yeah. And it's not helping them either because they're not winning any games.
Nope.
But, we'll have to see what happens. We'll have to see, especially in the offseason, if the Nets decide to bring him back or if he decides to walk and if Kevin Durant decides to stay or not. It all depends on the success they have, I feel like. But if they do decide to stay, they got to get a coach who can hold those guys accountable, like Gio said.
Which ain't happening in LA either, though.
No, which is why I'm honestly okay if we don't get him because, like I said, he's too much of a headache. He's a great player, but he's just so much of a headache. It's like Antonio Brown of when he was on the Steelers.
Fair.
Or any other team after that, for me.
Right. But any other closing thoughts?
Not on that. If you don't mind, I'd like to move to something better.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Miami Heat,
Mhm.
although they don't look better right now. They
Right.
just had a great game winner with Tyler Hero. If you saw, Jimmy Butler still believes they can go to the finals, and he made a statement on that. I'm curious on the Miami Heat fan over there on what he
Right.
thinks of Jimmy Butler's statement and moving forward for the Miami Heat.
Before you do, I will give the direct quote. He said, "I don't give a damn what people think. I don't give a damn that we're 2-5. We're still making it to the finals,
That's right.
and that's a guarantee." In Jimmy Butler's words.
See, with what Jimmy Butler said, I actually disagree with what he said.
So you do care that you guys are looking bad?
Just 2.5.
All right.
So I disagree with what he said. We're out here, we're 2-5.
Mhm.
We barely beat the Kings tonight.
So 3-5 now, right?
3-5, barely beat the Kings. With that, Jimmy wasn't playing tonight, so
That's true.
if he was playing, it wouldn't have gone down to a game winner.
No.
Um,
But that was
Miami's-
without De'Aaron Fox too, though.
yeah, but Jimmy's so much better,
That's true.
and I love me some De'Aaron Fox, bro. Plus, but yeah, it's a slow start. I still think Miami pulls through, top 4 seed, maybe 5.
Okay.
And this is where I disagree with Jimmy Butler, because he says we can make it to the finals.
Well, he says you're going to.
He says we're going to make the finals.
Yes.
We winning all that, bro. We making the whole thing. We getting a ring. Like, come on, Jimmy.
Okay. Should have seen that coming.
Nobody stopped Miami come playoff time. I don't want to hear the Cavs. I don't want to hear the Sixers. I don't want to hear Brooklyn, Boston, anybody.
Okay. In case you guys haven't seen the previous podcasts, Saya has called this like each and every year. Still hasn't come to fruition. We are still waiting for it to come to fruition. Maybe this year's the year. We will see what
Bet all your
happens.
money on it.
But I do agree. I don't think that a slow start is that big of a deal, especially for a team of Miami Heat's caliber, especially with what they've shown that they can do in the playoffs. They can make the Eastern Conference Finals and the finals as a 4 seed, and I think they will do that no matter what.
Yep.
Gio?
Thinking of it, it can happen,
Right.
but
Will happen.
it'll be tough. It'll be very tough, especially this year. Especially how they're playing right now. They do have to get better. It's only, been 8 games, but still, they have a losing record. It's Miami Heat. They should be better than this right now.
Well, I mean, if you look at other teams around the league, a lot of other teams should be better as well, such
for
as the
sure.
Golden State Warriors. It's just early, so
Right.
I don't look too much into it yet. If it's midway through the season and they're still struggling, that's when I'll start looking into it.
Right. And I think, if you come out of the gate going, it's better, you're better off, I think, right?
Right.
Than having to climb that hill, which the Miami Heat have done previously in seasons past, be the 8 seed and then somehow become the 1 seed, right?
Right.
After
Exactly.
All-Star break. But it's just, the veteran play, right? Late in the season, Jimmy
Mhm.
Butler, great coaching. So yeah, they can do it again. Obviously, I don't see them, don't count them out. I agree with Jimmy Butler. It can happen again. It'll be tough this year. Very tough. You have 3 or 4 teams in the East that can go to the finals right now.
I'd say 3.
Who are your 3?
The Heat, the Celtics, and the Bucks.
I'd say there's one.
Yes, we all know who that one
The
is,
Miami Heat.
and we all know why Gio turned his camera off. I'm sorry, Gio, but I just feel like the Cavs are a little too inexperienced for right now.
I want to hear an apology.
No, because it's facts. They're inexperienced outside of Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs.
I don't want to hear it.
Here, I got you. Okay.
Okay.
I apologize to you
Okay.
for the Cavs not being on Miami's level. They will not be.
I would agree with you. I would if I didn't see the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Celtics twice. That was big.
It's regular season. Playoffs are a totally different breed.
Miami should have beat them 4 games in the playoffs last year.
I just think experience plays a huge role in the playoffs, and that's why you've seen teams who are like 1 and 2 seeds in the regular season not do much in the playoffs.
They do, for sure.
Grizzlies.
Hence the great right. Hence the
Right.
Grizzlies. The leadership of Donovan Mitchell, showing what he can do, especially tonight. Darius Garland, he's ready. He's honestly ready. I know experience plays a lot in the playoffs, but looking at this Cleveland Cavaliers team and the success they've had so far with the teams they've played, they beat the Eastern Conference champions twice so far this season in close games with everybody playing, right? And I don't even think Darius Garland played the first game against Boston. That's the thing, and we still came out with a win. Our defense is there. I wouldn't put it as, talent-wise great as Miami Heat, but the hustle is there, just like Miami Heat. I like the grittiness we play on defense. Our offense is clicking. When Karis LeVert plays well, we're there. But every single player on the Cavaliers is playing well. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell. He's honestly underrated right now. Should be part of that MVP category.
I agree.
And I see the Cleveland Cavaliers going to the championship this year. I really do. Not biased like Nick Saya, right?
I'm not biased.
Not biased, right? Okay, so no bias here. But
I think that's a bold take.
Cavaliers
But
have a real chance at going to the finals this year.
I think that's bold, but we'll see what happens.
Equally as good as. Do you see the Bucks beating them?
The Cavs?
Yeah,
Yes, I do see the Bucks beating the Cavs.
depth-wise, I do not see that happening. It'll
That's
take a
fair.
remarkable game because Jared Allen is a great defender. Yes, he will not stop Giannis. He will slow him down.
But Drew is going to slow down D Midge
Right.
more than
Darius
Giannis will
Garland.
get slowed down.
Chris
Evan
Middleton will be
Mobley.
on Chris Middleton will be on DG.
We have Evan Mobley too, who was remarkable tonight, defensively and offensively.
I don't know. I think the experience is going to be a big factor for me. So I'm not ready to put him in the championship contender yet. We'll see what happens though.
It's just we got a great team, solid team. Ricky Rubio, great, veteran on the bench, great leadership. Kevin Love, great leadership. Bickerstaff, great coach. Should have been coach of the year last year, in my opinion. Should be this year. We'll see what happens.
It's fair. Any closing thoughts, Saya?
The Cavs are good this year, just not Miami. On Miami's level.
All right. Any other topics you guys want to touch on before we close up?
Yeah, I want to congratulate your Los Angeles Lakers on their first win.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Where do you see your Los Angeles Lakers coming, especially Russ coming off the bench, Anthony Davis not shooting as many threes? Where do you see this Lakers team heading if they play like that?
If they play like that and continue to play the way they've been playing so far tonight, I could see us winning 35 to 40 games for the season.
That's it.
I would say that because I need to see us make moves for shooters first because we got to get more consistent shooting
For sure.
and then wing depth as well.
If you keep Russell Westbrook and he plays well off the bench like he has, would you want to keep him? Like,
if he continues to play like this, yeah, I wouldn't be mad if we keep him.
but would you want to keep him other than, and instead of getting Buddy Hield and Miles Turner right now?
I'd rather have Buddy and Miles Turner still because I feel like that would help our team win more games personally.
Okay. Thoughts on that, Nick?
I agree that Miles and Buddy would be better, but Russ is looking good coming off the bench.
100%. And I'm glad we finally made that move because it's obvious him and LeBron can't coexist.
I'll just have to start pitching more ideas to the Lakers.
Hey, we've been pitching that idea for like a full year.
Who?
The Lakers faithful.
Listen. All I know is I looked directly into the camera and made eye contact with all your higher ups.
So
They were like, this kid knows what he's talking about. Let's try it out.
So you think
Boom.
Jeannie and Rob were in the GM office be like, oh, let's check out this podcast. Saw your take, we're like, that's a good idea.
Yeah, they should get Buddy.
They should get Buddy.
Yeah, Buddy.
Buddy
They should get two buddies and then one Miles.
Trade the whole house for Buddy Boeheim.
Okay, no, ignore that, Rob Pelinka. And then you should also, if you're listening, Rob, sign 7.
Don't sign Seth.
My goodness. How long can this guy be out of the league?
I have no clue. Honestly, at this point, if the Lakers don't get him, I just want someone to get him because, yes, his defense is a liability, like we've pointed on, but he's a great rebounder, which makes up for defense, and he's a sharpshooter.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Go right ahead.
There's no way no teams want him, though.
Exactly. That's what, is he, considering retirement, or?
I think he's trying to pick, a contending team. So it's, a team you could potentially win a ring with. I think that's what he's doing.
I think so too, because I think he knows deep down that this is going to be one of his last years, if not his last year. So he knows he has to get a ring soon.
If I'm going anywhere, you guys might think this is shocking. I'm going to Atlanta. Yes, he was traded to Atlanta, but before never played a game for Atlanta. For the 15 minutes he was traded there. But Atlanta's a great place for him, I think. Shooting wise, he'd get open very well with DeJounte and Trae Young. He'd get the open looks. They got rid of Gallinari, who was a great shooter for them.
Yeah.
And I feel like Carmelo Anthony would fit that spot perfectly. Rebounding wise, he'd be great. He's got that veteran presence. He's got that postseason, experience as well with the Nuggets, with the Knicks, right? And he's just a great player. He should be on a team, and I think Atlanta would be the best fit for him.
That's fair. I just don't think he'll go to Atlanta because I think, like Saya said, he's trying to get a ring.
You don't think Atlanta could be a contender?
Not a championship contender, no.
Milwaukee.
Yeah,
could
he
see
should
that.
go to Milwaukee too.
I could see that. I think he's gonna be like Boogie Cousins that one year where he like waits half a year and then signs with the obvious contender.
Yeah. Just don't go to the Warriors, Melo.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't go to the Warriors. That's the one team I hope not.
Just because he's gonna lose in the finals to Miami, so like, just don't do it.
Or Cleveland or Boston. I think the East is going to win this year, to be honest. Any East
Yeah,
team.
Miami.
Miami, Cleveland, Boston, or Milwaukee, for sure. Most
Yeah, I
likely.
agree with you. Miami's gonna win it all.
You're saying not Miami, right? Sorry, you're lagging right there.
No, I agree with you.
No,
Miami's gonna win it all.
not Miami.
I'm biased.
All right. Both of you are biased. We all know that.
You.
Any other closing thoughts though?
I think we hit all the topics.
All right. Gio, you got a segment?
Yeah. So this week, right? It's November 1st, so all the sneakers are coming out on sneakers, showing on the schedule.
Mhm.
Great sneakers right now, I think, coming out. Might be a little underrated. Why So Sad? SB Dunk lows. I think they're pretty cool. Great materials, great coloration and blues. Another shoe I think is really well put together is the Jordan Low. I believe Bayou, right? It's combined to look like a scarecrow kind of, feel to it. Great different materials on it. Obviously it's for Zion Williamson, and it's going to be a great shoe coming out. I believe it's coming out the 8th of November. And yeah, a couple other great sneakers on the way, but we'll talk about them when it gets closer.
All right. In the video game world, obviously this past Friday, Call of Duty Modern Warfare dropped. I did get that game, and I do recommend that you guys get it as well. It's a very good game. The graphics are very good, and I really like the game. So if you guys are into shooting games, I highly recommend it.
Valid. For music, I have 2 songs this week.
Mhm.
The first one's Polo G. He dropped a new song called Bag Talk. Personally, I'm a fan of it. I like a lot of Polo G stuff. The second one is from Juice WRLD. It's In My Head. I really like that song. It was a song I've never heard before, so it was like actually great to give it a listen. But yeah, go check those songs out.
Long live Juice WRLD.
Hello, JW. You feel me?
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one.
Thanks for watching the TikTok, Instagram. Like. If you enjoyed this comment or this, okay.
If you enjoyed this video, I'll save that for Saya.
Yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, you can drop a comment. Comment Gio did Nick dirty by making me be the cliffhanger. And as always, make sure you Gio.
Make sure you guys subscribe, right? Helps us a lot. We appreciate it. If you guys like the video, it'll help you guys watch the next video easier, right when we upload. And one more quick thing, rest in peace, Takeoff. Very sad to see. But hopefully, Offset and Quavo can make things happen. And we'll see y'all on the next podcast. Thank you guys so much.
Rest in peace, Takeoff. Peace. Thank you.
Rest in peace.